In today's video, we're going to take a look at AutoCAD Electrical and how it references certain wires from one page to another. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take another sheet or create another drawing, stick it in between, and then see how it reorganizes the reference numbers to make sure that it corresponds to the correct sheet number as well as to the correct reference number. So firstly, let's go and create two drawings. And let's make this sheet 1. And let's just go make sure that the reference is set up correctly. So I'm going to go to my properties, drawing properties, and we're going to go through to our drawing format. So the format reference we have for this is the X zones. And if I go to the setup over here, you'll see there is 85. So I'm just going to go back here and let's just see the DWG units. Okay, so it's 3, it's millimeters, and then we take a look at the approximate sort of, okay, so that's 45 over there. So that's 82, we need to just bring it down to 45. So what I'm going to do with this is just bring this closer down to the correct number. So let's go to our setup, and this is going to be 42. And then you'll see under your setup, we've also got a origin. So the origin, I'm just going to pick, I could get the absolute, that's going to be about over there. Let me just take off my grid snap. Okay, so I'm just going to do an approximation over there. So there we go. Okay, and I even can't, that's pretty close. I'll say 10 and 10. Okay, so now that we've got our reference correct over here, I'm going to create a new drawing. We're going to say this is sheet 2. And we're going to go and make sure the properties are also good. So let's just see here. Okay, so that should be 42. Now, what I possibly should do over here is change the project defaults. So the project defaults, if I change that, then every single time I create a new drawing, it's then going to take what's set up in the project defaults. And you can see here's 85. So I'm going to make that 42, 10, and 10. And there we go. Okay. So now if I create a third sheet, then it will then take the properties from my project. Okay, so I'm just going to go and create a wire. And what we're going to take a look at is the source and arrow destination, how it references what sheet it's on, as well as how it references the reference on the same page. So if I come through, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra sheet, but I'm going to stick it between sheet 1 and sheet 2, and then we can see how we can go and retag everything so that the references are correct with the correct sheet number as well. So if I go to my wire, I'm going to go just take it down to reference 4. So that's the column over there. And then I'm going to go to, okay, so that's sheet 2. And then I'm going to go to sheet 1 over here. And let's just draw a wire. Let's say it's coming from that reference over there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to create my source arrow. So this is where my source is coming from. Okay, code, I'm going to say this is test 1. And the description, we can go defaults, and I'm going to say 120. And then I'm going to select OK. So I'm going to put it in. I could put in my matching destination arrow here now. I'm not going to. I'm going to, because it's on another page. So I'm going to go no. And then I'm going to go to my sheet 2, go through to my destination arrow, select over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say recent. And there you'll see it'll pick up the recently inserted source arrow that I've created. Now, this would show all, would have source and destination errors. If I just went showed unpaired, it would only show the unpaired um, source and destination errors that I've got. Okay, so there we go. Test 120 VAC, and okay. Now, when you take a look at this, you'll see there that it's got question marks on it. Okay, so I haven't assigned any Y numbers. So go to my Y numbers. I'm going to say tag, retag all, project wide, and I'm going to go just everything over here. So do all, okay, and save my drawings. Okay, so if I go back to my sheet one, you'll see there's got a question mark. So the way that it tags the reference over here is the sheet number, and then the which reference, which X reference it is, X column references. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And then, so these question marks, if it doesn't know what sheet numbers is coming from. So if I right click, go to properties, drawing properties, you'll notice there that it doesn't have a sheet value on it. And then this one as well, properties, drawing properties, there's no sheet value. So it doesn't know, because I haven't given it a sheet value, what to put in as a cross reference. So to do that, what I can do is I go to my project and I go to my update retag all. And you'll see there I've got my sheet value. So I'm going to take off, actually, I'm going to keep this on. Sheet value, resequence, and I'm going to go OK. Do all my drawings, select OK, and then let's see what happens over here. Okay, so it runs through both the drawings, and there you'll see it's updated the question marks to 2. And then on this sheet 2, it's updated the question marks to 1. And if I go back to my properties for the drawing for sheet 1, you'll notice there that it's now sheet 1. And then for my sheet 2, my properties is sheet 2. Now, what happens if I go and I create another drawing and I slip it in between sheet 1 and 2? And, when I'm doing my project, my drawings, I want it to go sequentially from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't want, sheet 1 and the next one sheet 5, the next one sheet 4. So I'm going to go and just create a new drawing over here. I'm going to create this as just sheets. So I'm going to just say sheet. I'm just going to show you how the sheet values work. So go OK, project defaults. And then what I'm going to do now, it'll put at the bottom, is I'm going to move this up over here. So now my sheet 2, if you look at properties, is actually, well, the name sheet 2. I could draw drawing 2, drawing 3. This one is actually sheet 2. But if I look at my references, so there's that drawing over there, sheet 1, sheet, and sheet 2. Okay, so this should actually, that is the same because it's 1.7, and then sheet 1 should actually be referencing 3.1 because I want this to be now sheet 3. So what I can do very quickly, just go update, retag all again, okay, and then resequence starting with 1, all 3, and it takes in order. So that'll be 1, that'll be 2, and that'll be 3. And select OK. Runs through my 3 sheets again. And then you should see that that should now update. Okay, so that hasn't updated. Let's just try and run that update retag again. Okay, so there we go. Component cross-reference update. Resequence start with 1. Okay, so let's go. Okay, let's do all the numbers again. And then there we go. Okay, so great. So there it has updated again. I think it's sort of tried to resequence it or retag it. If I take a look at it, so it did the cross-reference update, and then it did the sheet values after it did the cross-reference update. So this sheet 2 had been renamed to sheet 3, and then and then I just had to redo this again, and it's all working now. So there we go. And just to make sure it goes to the correct page, I go to my surfer, select my source arrow, and then you can see the destination is sitting on sheet 3, reference 1, go to, and it opens up the correct drawing over there. Now, one thing that's happened over here is that the names are not good. So just to get everything to be on the same page again, I'm just going to close these drawings so that I can rename them. Actually, I don't have to close that, but for sheet, let's go make this sheet 3. So right click, rename. Rename. So it's going to be sheet 3. And then we can rename this to sheet 2. Okay. So there we have it. So this is just one of the ways that AutoCAD Electrical can create your source and destination arrows. And then when it comes through to referencing where they're going to, which sheet they're going to, after you have maybe added a sheet in between, or you have drawing in between, or you've reshuffled stuff, you'll just go to the project, update retag, and make sure that component cross-reference update, Y number and signal tag retag, and your sheet is ticked and run. Thank you very much for watching.